Welcome to the Silver Screen Project, where we look back at a series of films in anticipation of an exciting new cinema release.
In preparation for the brand new Johnny Wickles Chapter 4, we've gone back and watched 2014's Johnny Wickles.
Johnny Wickles!
Had you seen Johnny Wickles before?
I had about 3 times, and I do feel that kind of impacted my experience this time.
For some reason, I thought you hadn't seen any of them.
No, I thought you hadn't seen any of them.
I watched all 3 of them like last year.
Okay, for the first time.
Yeah.
What did you think of this one?
It's pretty fun. It's one of those where it's like it's just action. The action's great, and that's kind of the focus of it.
Although I think this one, I haven't rewatched any of the other ones yet because we're going to make our way through, as you just said. But from memory, I think the other ones kind of get into it a bit quicker. This one, I did feel that kind of intro a little bit.
When I watched them
it is important, obviously, for the whole thing.
Yeah, when I watched them all last year, I remember having a feeling that I really liked the first one, and the second and the third were a little disappointing.
Yeah, they've got their moments.
But it's all about the action, and it is full of action, and it's great when there's bits where it's like, oh, he takes down a guy and then he just shoots him in the back of the head. Like there's nothing held back.
It's very business-like, isn't it? Like it's very efficient the way he does everything. It's really good.
And it is just a fun, like, don't think about too much action thing.
I think the main kind of thing that kind of weighed down on me, I say it took a little while to get into it. Like, not really, like in the long haul, like it's important that you see that little bit about his tragedy in his life and his wife, and she somehow pre-purchased a dog to come after she died. I don't really understand.
She must have had like a long-term illness or something.
Yeah, but why she got it to arrive the day after she died or whatever? Because it kind of implies that it's been like a bit of longer. And then the Russian guy Vigo is like, his wife died like 2 weeks ago, and you're like, oh God,
I guess she talked to the pet place and be like, I'm dying. Can you send that dog over there when I'm dead?
Yeah, a bit silly, but yeah, and like all that initial bit where it's like, can we just have your car? And like, no, obviously, and then you've got John Wick's car, and like all that. Love it. Like it does. I knew what was happening. I kind of wish it was a little bit quicker, but for what it is,
I was fine with that.
But overall, I think the main thing that kind of I came away from is that this film thinks it's a lot cooler than it is. And I think there are certain aspects of it that kind of pull me out, like certain soundtrack moments. I feel like I'm a bit like, I don't like this at all. There's a Marilyn Manson song that plays a lot.
Yeah.
And I just found that, like, personally, I didn't really love that. And just like
it is still pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. Yeah. Maybe it was the mood I was in watching this. But like the cast are great. Like there's a couple of standouts, and there are people throughout the rest of the series that are good. And like, again, I'm always going on about world building, but this teases a really fun world that you see in the rest of the films as well, I think. And that's one of my favorite things about action, obviously, first up. And then like the cast and the world.
I also noted down like the world building's fun, like the hotel, and you've got the chips, and it's like
those coins. I've got some questions about the value of those coins,
and it's just like you can't do anything in the hotel, and everyone kind of knows each other and respects each other.
It's kind of handed out to you quite like measured, that it doesn't really over explain anything, and there's enough mystery and kind of like it doesn't hold your hand too much, which I did really enjoy.
There's some bits early on that I really liked. So first of all, I remember before the whole thing is his dog gets killed and he goes on a rampage.
Basically,
and like when you watch it, it's kind of like, actually, it's kind of justified. Like, this is a dog that's representing his dead wife.
And how quickly it came after that.
And then Theon Greyjoy kills it.
Yeah. Although I remember there being like more of like, we kick the dog, like, but they like kind of kick it off to the side, and then it either dies or they kill it like while he's passed out.
They
might, because then they like drag the body up and put it next to, like, it is fucking rubbing it in his face, like almost literally, But I mean, like it sounds like such a stupid idea for a film, and it is kind of stupid, but I think that part works like fine for what it is.
I think it's like you just need something to like set him off. Like it's similar in ways to Taken, in that it's just like one man's mission to go and do something.
Almost doesn't matter by like halfway through this film. It doesn't really matter why he's doing it.
Yeah, exactly.
And he doesn't really. He's not even really trying to justify it at this point.
No,
like, he's lost everything.
I kind of like that he's
it.
like an anti-hero essentially. Where like he's not a good guy. He's an assassin and he murders people brutally.
Yeah,
and it doesn't pretend it's anything else.
No, and that's kind of where I'm kind of in the middle. Where like I think part of me kind of saw through that a little bit, and I was kind of almost taking the piss myself a little bit. But
fair enough.
It's very kind of sincere in the whole way it does it, and it I think it's because it's taking itself so seriously. I think part of my mood watching it, I was a bit like, this is a bit silly, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no,
like,
I like that. I like that it's silly in its seriousness.
In how serious it is, yeah.
Another thing that I like quite early on is how like it's the filmmaking process, but how they build up the threat of Johnny Wickles before we actually see him doing anything.
This is what I was going to say next. So we don't know anything about his history at all. You get some like vague teases where like what's the guy called? Look, John Leguizamo, who's like the car guy.
Yeah.
And you get this like thing there, but it's not until he decides to go on this rampage, he gets the sledgehammer, goes downstairs, and Johnny Wickles is smashing the thing, and then at the same time Vigo's doing this whole thing, and it's the pencil, a fucking pencil. And then there's the boogeyman thing with Baba Yaga, and he's like singing to himself, and you've got these like subtitles that are just different colours for emphasis. Like there's
subtitles are stupid, but they're fun.
But there is some intentional, like, stylized. Well, a lot of it is very stylized.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? It stands out from other films that are a little bit more kind of grayscale and boring. I think.
Yeah, and I think it's it does take itself seriously, but it is funny at times as well. Like the bit after the Russians attack his house and he slaughters them all.
Yeah.
And the cops turn up. And it's Jimmy the cop. And he's like,
are you working again,
How you
John?
doing, Johnny? He's like, you working again? He's
I love that. Like,
maybe.
And this is that kind of world building that he knows so many people and like he is a big deal. And it almost makes it even more ridiculous. Like, and this is why everyone's so pissed off at Theon Greyjoy for killing this guy's fucking dog.
Yeah.
It's like, how the fuck could you not? Everyone knows him. Like, everyone fucking knows. And it's also like, how many people in this world are like connected to mob shit? Like, it seems like fucking everybody.
Yeah, I saw a video the other day that was like things that happen in films that are ridiculous. They're talking about how like highly paid assassins don't exist. Like, there's not enough people to kill him that need killing at a high price. That there'd be thousands of these like millionaire assassins running around. Like, it's an entirely ridiculous world.
Mad. And it makes you think, like, not so much in this one, but we'll talk about it next week with the sequel, John Wickles 2. Is it just 2 or
John
Chapter
Wickles
2? John
Chapter
Wickles
2.
Chapter 2. And in that one, there's stuff with it's like all points bulletin going out, and like fucking everyone in New York or whatever, which is like it's taking that to this next level where it is verging on being silly, but like self-aware silly. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Well, I think Keanu Reeves is perfect for this role. I think Keanu Reeves is very well suited to certain things. I don't think he's a great actor.
No.
And you see that in these films when there's dialogue.
Yes.
But
he can do a serious facial expression.
He
can play like hits and injured, which is something that
and you see it in The Matrix, where it's more about the action, the choreography that he's great at, and he's kind of a straight-faced guy.
Yes.
Similar in this, like straight-faced guy, so it suits him. And his choreography is brilliant. He does one of the trivia I've got is that he did 90% of his own stunts.
Yeah, well, when we were watching it, I think it was when something slightly slow was happening. I was showing Amy on my phone some of the training montages, and there's bits like it's quite scary because it's real guns on real ranges. But like all the fucking like snapshot, like fucking training shit, like he could probably do. Well, he does do it for a film, but he's probably fucking deadly in real life at this point. You know what I mean? It's quite like when you think like I'm not a pro gun person at all, so that side of it is a little bit like I'm a bit scared of Keanu Reeves kind of thing. But it's quite cool that his commitment to the role.
And
sort of
I think like the choreography is great, but one thing they do really well with it as well is they don't stick with one filming technique. Like so some shots they've got like just a single camera from the side of the room.
Yeah.
You see the action in front of it.
Yeah,
Sometimes it moves down the hallway with him. Sometimes it's close-ups or just like close-ups
more
of the
modern,
scenes.
like Born Identity, lots of cuts.
And they switch between different styles and different fights, and it's cool because it's quite refreshing, and it means that the fights are different.
That's it, yeah, and it shows because we've talked about it before. You know, ages ago when we did like Project A and stuff like that on the main podcast, we talked about how kung fu film classically is kind of longer shots where you can see the action happening.
Yeah.
And there is plenty of that thrown into this, as well as this kind of modern Western fast cuts kind of thing.
It's
like you
a
say,
great
it makes
mix.
it refreshing throughout.
And it means, like I said, that each fight is unique, and you're not just being like, oh, I saw. For a film that is like 90% fights and shooting, it never feels overly repetitive.
And even like the set pieces. So like the couple that stand out, we're kind of moving through the film chronologically as we're talking actually, but like there's the sneaking into the bathhouse, and there's that guy Francis, and he gives him the night off because he's like knows him. Love that. It shows that he's got a bit of heart. In the bathhouse, there's that kind of like strange slow music playing, and he's just going around, and then it kicks off, and then that builds up to the club, which feels very like almost like Dark Knight when he goes into the club with the music.
I read that Keanu Reeves was like really ill on that day when they were doing the club, and he'd only learnt the choreography that morning. But the director was just like, he was really ill and was struggling, but he just did take after take after take after take and just nailed them. And it was like, he's dedicated to his craft.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. And we were saying before about like the injuries, and I think like there's a couple of, there's two kind of main types of action hero. There's like the invincible person that you see, in like Arnold Schwarzenegger films, you see with like The Rock and stuff now.
Yeah.
And there's like the ones that get fucked up like loads, which is like John McClane or like fucking John Wickles. And it's like halfway through the film, like after that club scene, he's fucked. Well, and he just goes through the rest of the film still with
goes
the pills
to
or whatever.
See the doctor, and the doctor's like, it's just the doctor at the hotel that just deals with assassins, and he's like, I can stitch it up, but if you go out and do stuff, it's going to open. And take this to
take the pills.
Take the pills, because it's like, fair enough. I like that they thought about this. It's world building again.
Yes.
Thought about what it would actually. They'd need a doctor that is okay with them going out and tearing the stitches again, and just leave them going.
With the hotel, I quite like the scene with what's she, Mockingbird from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah,
her character's a little bit kind of. I feel like they could have done a bit more with that, but it is what it is. It's whatever.
Yeah.
And there's a bit where she sneaks in while Willem Dafoe is like kind of trying to snipe him, but at that point, is he going for it, or is he? It's kind of unclear, and he kind of has that kind of interesting little arc where he ends up kind of giving his life for it effectively,
Yeah.
But yeah, the hotel, like the concierge guy is really good. Like I think he's in all the films probably. At least he's in the ones I've seen.
Yeah.
I can't remember if I've seen number 3. John Wickles Chapter 3? Is that
John Wickles?
See, this is what I was going to say before recording. So that's the only one.
It's Johnny Wickles Chapter 3 Parabellum.
Oh, it does have a Chapter 3. Okay,
yeah, but it's got an extra thing stuck on the end.
Yes. But yeah, him and the guy who plays the lead, the head of the hotel.
Yeah,
love him. He's in a couple of things that I've seen before. I think he was in a little bit of Game of Thrones, maybe.
Ian McShane.
Yeah. And he was in I've been looking at the book to try and remember the name up on my shelf. American Gods. He was in that. It was very good. Yeah, he's in all sorts. Very good. There's a really funny bit when he goes to tell, I think she's called Perkins, the lady assassin.
Yes.
He goes to tell her that she's like disowned from the hotel or whatever, and he just kind of walks up and gives her like a sassy little one-liner and goes off to one side, and then all the guys just like headshot her, and it's just like, this is pretty good. These little characters are very fun throughout, and I think that really helps.
Just the supporting cast is just great, and like they're just good fun. They've all got their own kind of stories, but you don't need to know all that. You
that's what I mean. Yeah, that's kind of
fun.
It feels fleshed out without like overwhelming you with, because it's like 90 minutes, isn't it? Like something like that, 95 minutes or something.
Going into the more negative side,
go for it.
It is just 90 minutes, but I did feel like it went on a bit too long at the end.
Yeah.
Like he kind of does everything. It's pretty much finished. And then there's another like 15-20 minutes where he's got kind of the final showdown stuff. And it kind of just keeps going. And you're just like, I'm kind of finished now.
The thing that really stuck out for me at the end is, so we get one of those things at the very start where it's like, how did he get like record scratch? How did I get here? Kind of thing. Because he's crawling along and he's like bloodied, and then he starts watching the video of his wife, and then it kind of cuts into the what happened and everything.
Yeah.
And then that part is after he's already killed Vigo. So the next thing he does is just go get another dog. And it's not like he has anything like triumphant to do after that.
Yeah.
So we kind of like it's like it kind of feels a bit like why, like normally that then they do the final battle after that kind of thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I just feel like that didn't 100% work for me and felt a little bit pointless. And then the film ends really abruptly and he's just like driving off or something with his dog, and
I was like, okay,
it's a bit
the other thing is, I know it's just kind of a fun little film that's just showing off the choreography, but the villain wasn't very interested in the Russian guy.
No.
He was just kind of like generic Russian mobster.
I think he's quite fun.
He's fun in certain scenes, but as it kind of gets progression, he's just like a Russian guy, and it's like,
and also
okay.
like I know Johnny Wickles is really, really injured by the time they actually have a fight at the end, but this Vigo guy shouldn't be able to fucking do anything. Like he's cowering, like he's quite menacing at first, but as soon as the shit hits the fan, like he's like running away. Also, his right-hand man doesn't know how to speak Russian. I know that's probably a joke throughout, but like there's something not right there. I feel like it's not played for laughs. It looks like Michael Madsen.
It is Michael Madsen.
Is it Michael Madsen?
I think it's Michael Madsen.
Because Michael Madsen is quite old now, and that guy, I mean, maybe...
I'm pretty sure it's Michael Madsen. So I remember I was like, oh look, it's Michael Madsen. I forgot he was in this.
I thought maybe it was like Michael Madsen's like son or brother, because I feel like, is it Michael Madsen?
No, wait a minute.
I don't think it is. I think it's a guy who looks like Michael Madsen. Because Michael Madsen is like a little bit more like overweight and looks older than he did in fucking fucking Reservoir Dogs.
Oh my god, it's not Michael Madsen.
Right. I never looked it up.
It's a guy called Dean Winters.
Dean Winters, the new Michael Madsen,
who was in Brooklyn Nine-Nine. He's like a dick.
Yeah, he's the cop that comes in. Yeah, it's that guy. Yeah, but yeah,
how weird. I just assumed it was Michael Madsen.
If you look up Michael Madsen 2023, oh no, when was this film? 2016 or
2014.
But yeah, I mean I think that's supposed to be a joke, but it kind of annoyed me more than anything because I was like, this is a bit silly.
I think it's also so that like for us in the audience, we can hear him talking.
Yeah. I mentioned the soundtrack. Like there was bits that worked for me and some bits didn't. They play that Marilyn Manson song like 3 times in it. And I didn't particularly like it. And yeah, just generally some of the acting wasn't very good, but as you say, it's not the focus of the film.
From what I remember, I think that becomes more prominent in the later ones where Keanu Reeves has more dialogue. And I remember particularly, we'll talk about it next week, but the second one, it has moments where it takes you out of the film because you're like,
I do remember the second being more plot heavy because we'll talk about it next week, but there's things to do with like mafia and taking over from other people.
I can't remember, so we'll talk about that next time.
Okie dokie.
We've got a couple of bits of trivia. I mentioned the 90% of stunts.
Yeah.
Director Chad Stahelski was Keanu Reeves' stunt double in The Matrix.
Yeah, I did know that. Actually.
Makes sense, and you don't often see stunt doubles become directors.
Did you see the fourth Matrix?
No, I forgot there was a fourth Matrix
because he has like a cameo role in it.
Nice.
As like effectively an equivalent of Neo, so that kind of because they kind of look a bit like each other.
That makes sense.
It's like a very short.
And the other one, do you want to guess how many people John Wick kills in this film?
Oh god, I have no idea. At least 50.
It is over 50.
Is it 75?
Oh, very close. Johnny Wickles kills 77 people, which is
good.
A hell of a lot.
In 90 minutes, that's, almost one a minute there. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, pretty good going.
Did you have a favourite kill that stands out? Because a lot of it is very quick.
Yeah, let me try and think.
I'll tell you mine. In the club, do you remember there's like a guy with a big beard? There's a big guy that beats him up a bit up on the bit before they get thrown down.
Right.
Anyway, Johnny Wickles grabs his beard, pulls him down, and then just like headshots him. It's like really brutal, but it really stood out to me.
There was there's one I like where I think it's in the house where the Russians are taking it, and he's like got one guy like pinned on the floor, and he sees another guy, and he quickly turns and shoots him, and then just points the gun down and executes the guy he's sitting on. And it's
very good. Very good.
Yeah, nice.
And there's a guy whose head gets like bent back on a table or something in that bit as well. Yeah. So I think that scene is probably one of the best in the whole film.
Yeah,
because it just comes out of nowhere almost.
So the final bit to do. Did Johnny Wickles make you more or less hyped for Johnny Wickles Chapter 4? Prod yes or prod no?
I would say yes, prod yes. I think although I think because I'm quite familiar with this, certain parts I was kind of a bit bored with realistically. I think it's a good film, and I think I'm excited to see where it goes.
Yeah, I'm also prod yes because it's fun. It's a fun character who just does load of murders. It's it's just fun.
Johnny Wickles does a murder.
Yeah, so I'm also prod yes. So yeah, next time we'll cover Johnny Wickles Chapter 2.
Yeah,
and we'll work up to Johnny Wickles Chapter 4. Hopefully you enjoyed this. I certainly did. I can't remember what else there is to say.
Well, if you like stuff like this, we've got the Project, which is the main podcast we do every single week, and we cover all sorts of different projects throughout pop culture and history.
We do. So I will hear you next time.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.